Okay. All right. Okay, we'll start in the bye week off today with practice. Today, tomorrow, Wednesday. Thursday we'll lift. Coaches will go on the road. Recruit Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Go to high school games Friday night, Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon. I think we have a bunch going too, and then a couple of them on Thursday night. And then we'll be back at it Sunday with our team. Sunday will be a traditional Tuesday. So we'll get going there. Game time was decided for noon Eastern, so we'll begin getting acclimated for that next Sunday. But we'll have 3 good days of practice, and then give our team 3 days off of practicing, and then get ready for Indiana.
Halfway through the season, are you where you wanted to be? How far away are you from where you want to be? How do you generally assess where you are halfway through?
I want to be 7-0, number 1 in the country, but I don't know if we're ready to declare that one yet. I didn't know necessarily what our team was going to look like, this year, as we're trying to build it into the type of program we want to have sustained success. So I kind of knew that this year was going to have our ups and downs. There were so many new faces, new bodies, new people playing positions they've never played before, in atmospheres they've never played, in a conference we've never played in. There was going to be so much new that it would be impossible to suggest that it was going to look too different than it is right now. Good win, tough loss, good win, tough loss. We've had a few of those in a row now. So I think that's kind of part of what we're living through. And it looks like that's what college football is living through right now, with all the changes and the realignment, which is awesome. 4-3 in college is more like 4-3 in the NFL versus 4-3 in college used to be completely different a couple of years ago. So we're okay. We're in terms of where we want to be. No, I'd like us to always be better. I'd like us to always try to be playing a little bit higher level. But I do believe that if we continue to improve each week, we'll get there. And then we're going to have a new influx, a huge new influx of talent that will come in here starting in December.
Earlier this season, you mentioned that you scheme off of situation and not personnel. But when Jeremiah Hunter only gets 1 catch against Iowa and 3 catches against Michigan the week before, is there any intention to maybe get him a little bit more involved in the offense moving forward?
Yeah, well, we tried to hit him a couple times. We certainly tried to hit him on 4th and 11. We threw him the ball. We barely missed him. We hit him on we tried to throw him a go ball down in the red zone. We wound up taking a sack, and he did a great job on his route. We wound up just having a miscommunication there, but would have loved to hit a go ball at when it was 20-10, the first drive of the second half, when we drove down there on 1st and 10 on the plus 25-yard line. Yeah, we had him schemed up to throw a go-to. We had another chance that we tried to get him at the end of the half. We tried to hit him on a double move. Wound up looking toward Denzel, but probably had an opportunity to look at Jeremiah there. There was probably about 5 or 6 plays that he was the primary receiver in. Unfortunately, the ball didn't go to him. But the catches that Rashid had were all for that position, let's call it. And it just happened the way the game went, or who was in the game at the moment in time. Ended up 4 catches went to Rashid at the Z wide receiver, and 1 went to Jeremiah, but yet they were playing the same position, running the same routes.
Are there any guys that were questionable or out, and now you have 2 weeks to regroup? Are there any guys that won't come out of that and play?
Well, I guess Durfee will come out of it and play. Who won't come out of this and play? I don't know that. I would say Quentin Moore and Kevin Green are probably the least likely to be able to come out of this and play. I think it sounded like today that they said Kevin Green was going to be cleared for USC game. So I would assume that he will not come out of this, and then we'll see what this week brings for Quentin Moore. And then Max McCree was an injury during the game, and that one we're still waiting to hear from the hand specialist.
Moore, I think if he sits out 2 more games, he's eligible for a redshirt. Would that be a consideration?
It would be.
Is there a chance you think that you might not get him back this year?
Who, Quentin?
Quinn.
I think we'll have to see what it looks like. He's right now in that spot where, it was a pretty substantial MCL injury. And so we're working through it and trying to, he didn't have to get operated on, but we did have to, we have to let the doctors make the decision on what's best for him. And right now he's not where, I guess, where he hoped he would be, but he is progressing at a good level.
Coach, with the 9 a.m. kickoff announced, was there anything from experiencing that first time that you'll tweak or do different, or just the logistics of a trip like that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, we started pretty strong. So I don't know what I would, we had 2 offensive drives, one 14-play, one 15-play offensive drive. We had a 3-and-out to start the game on special teams, on defense. It was 7-all with 7 minutes left in the second quarter. We definitely didn't play well in the second half. I don't know. I don't have a real answer. Did that have to do with, were they tired? Was the 9 a.m. kickoff? Did we get up to a level and then couldn't sustain it? I don't think so. We'll look at everything, though. We talked about it today to kind of put in any special requests that any staff members have regarding if there's something that we could do differently or better. But for the most part, I think we would continue to have our Thursday morning practice. We don't have much flexibility because it's not the NFL. You can't move their class schedule. So you can only do what you can do, which is they have to go to class Tuesday and Wednesday at their normal time. Thursday, we're going to be able to travel, so you can move their classes then. And then Friday will be in Indiana or Bloomington Thursday night and Friday night. But in regards to what we do there, I can't see much of a difference because I don't know how much option we have. Usually, if you're a West Coast team playing on the East Coast in the NFL, you're doing it back-to-back weeks, and you're staying for the week. You'll never be in a situation where you're flying twice and playing the early morning kickoff. And then very rarely, I can't think of a team that's ever played at 10 a.m. if they were a Pacific team and then play again at 10 a.m. their next game. I would be hard-pressed to say it's probably ever happened in the NFL. So for that to happen with us, we have to make it work. We will make it work, and we'll do the very best we can to put the best schedule together we can.
Coach, I got to imagine you're frustrated with the red zone offense. When you're taking a look at that and taking a deep dive into it, what are you seeing?
Yeah, well, this past game, I saw us drive down there to the 8-yard line, have a false start, and then 2nd and 13 on the 13 usually leads to a field goal. Not very excited that we got the field goal blocked. And then the next drive, we got down to the red zone, scored a touchdown. And then the end of the game, I think we had 2 other red zone possessions, one of which we kicked a field goal in and one of which we scored a touchdown on. So, I like to score touchdowns on all of them. I'd like to not be in 2nd and 13 on the 13. That's really tough. That's a big time challenge. And, we had some chances. I think we had on that 3rd down and 13, probably could have hit the running back on a check down. Looked like they kind of lost track of him after he chipped, but we had a little bit of a protection problem there and had to scramble out. But yeah, we're looking at everything. We're taking a huge dive into red zone offense, a dive into 3rd down offense, a dive into end of half defense, a dive into our kicking game. But you got 3 days, 4 days maybe to look at all of it. It's not the NFL. You don't, switch out players. And it's our job to get our players better and continue to improve. And then it's our job to coach better. And it's our job to get in situations where maybe we can not have a false start or not have an illegal shift or not have a certain penalty here or there or maybe hit on a pass. But, yeah, it is what it is right now. And I do believe as we're building this program and we're going through this process, these things happen in year one. They happen probably everywhere in year one, and we're right now trying to find a way to get better.
Do you think the block field goal, was more a trajectory issue or a blocking issue up front?
Nah, they got us on. They had a really good push. They had a really good push, and they have 2 6'4" and 6'5" D tackles there, and it looked like the ball might have been a little bit lower trajectory than maybe the other 2 were. but I think they had a really good push on our right guard and right tackle, and we need to do a better job of submarining there, and we didn't. And they executed the block better than we executed the protection.
You mentioned there's going to be a big influx of talent starting in December. Where are the places that you see where you most need to continue to add depth or maybe kind of reshape the way that the personnel is on the roster?
Well, I think we have a lot of guys that are out of eligibility. So, you're going to have a situation where our safeties are out of eligibility with Cam Fab and Cam Broussard. So we're going to have to look at our safety position. Our corners, Thad Dixon's out of eligibility. You're going to have Carson Bruner and Zoe both out of eligibility. You got Sebastian Valdez out of eligibility. Jacob Bandez out of eligibility. So when you have all, 7 guys, let's call it, on defense, then offensively, Giles Jackson and Jeremiah Hunter are out of eligibility. I believe everybody else, and Latu is out of eligibility. I believe everybody else isn't. I think that's right. So we're going to have to, find receivers. Are they on our roster? Are they going to have to come in? That's going to be up to the guys on our roster. They have a head start. And that's the beautiful thing. Everybody on this team has a head start. So if you're not out of eligibility, you have a huge head start on becoming the dude next year. And we're going to see some great things out of Kamari House and Peyton Waters. And we're going to see great things out of some of the younger players that are getting opportunities right now. Adam Muhammad. But on the same token, Demond, Audric had 22 snaps. But on the same token, we're always going to look to continue to bring great players in. The new world order of college football will allow us to be able to spend what other programs are spending. And when you have that opportunity, then it's going to be much more of a level playing field than what it is right now in college football. And, we all saw what the Ohio State-Oregon game looked like, and that was a battle of two $20 million rosters. And I think what we're going to see is we're going to see more battles of comparable compensated rosters, and that'll make it really cool to see what football looks like.
Talking about your younger guys, you have a cornerback in Caleb Presley who's been here a couple seasons and hasn't played yet, and I just wonder, what's his progress?
I think he's had good days of practice and then some days that weren't as good, and he's going to see that he's got a chance to – he's got Elijah Jackson, he's got Efe, he's got Thad, Jordan Shaw right now all in front of him. And he's doing a really good job, I think, of trying to compete with those guys, and as is Barkins. But it's going to be an everyday thing, and they're going to have to be consistent in continuing to improve. And that's the fun part about the bye week, that this is a great opportunity for our young players to go out there and see how much better they can get. And we're going to do a lot more emphasis of good on good with our young guys and see what those guys look like, and give the older veterans let Cam Fab get his body back. Let Zoe, really get healthy. Get Bruner really healthy. So this 5-game push that we're going to have to get ourselves to be able to play 6, we're going to try to get the healthiest group we got possibly out there.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the offensive line? It just seemed like you lost Max early. Solo's been hurt. It seems like you've either got new guys or really young guys, which...
We had that to start the year. We had new guys and really young guys to start the year. And then all of a sudden they miraculously became veteran, and then we realized they're not veteran. So it's a challenge, right? Max was playing at an Iowa junior college while we were going to play Iowa, right? That's where Max came from. And then we lose Max the 8th play of the game, and then it's like this, oh my God, we lost Max, and then we put Swanee in, who's a freshman, redshirt freshman. And then we put Khalid Tafai in because Swanee's struggling a little bit because Swanee's coming off of an injury. And Khalid is a redshirt freshman. And Hatchett is playing next to him with his experience as a redshirt freshman. And then you go out there, and on the right side, you've got Enoch and you've got D'Lo, right? 2 guys that are older guys, but guys coming from other places. So you've got D'Lo and Enoch really bringing the stability of the seniority to the offensive line. And then you've got at right tackle Drew, who played half the season last year as a sophomore at San Diego State, and now he's doing a really good job for us. And Zach Henning's a redshirt freshman. He's going to get some more reps. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what we are right now up front with the offensive line. We are a young group with a couple of older veteran players, and we are going to work through the best combination of 5 guys, and we're going to rotate a lot of guys in these next 3 days. Guard Memelar should be healthier than he was, so that's exciting to get him back. And I think we'll see Guard and Landon and D'Lo and Enoch all, and Zach Henning competing inside, and then Swanee, Kali, and Drew, and Pocky probably all competing outside.
You guys have seen a number of opponents this year who don't ask their quarterbacks to throw it a whole lot. That's changing here probably over these next 5 games.
Yeah.
Is that a challenge defensively when you've seen mostly kind of one style most of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, we've kind of had that run of like 4 games in a row where you've really dealt with running back, run game. And I mean, I think we're letting up 123 yards a game in the passing game on defense. Now we're playing Indiana, who throws, I think they're number 1 in the conference in passing. And then you have SC, who we know is going to throw the ball. And then I think Penn State with Drew Aller, they're throwing the ball. So it's really changing, and then obviously with Dylan up at Oregon. So, we're gonna see a substantial difference in what we're defending, and it's gonna be a great responsibility and great challenge to keep the defense continuing to play well. Offensively, we've got to find ways to score more than 24 points a game. Our goal is going to have to be, we're going to try to get to 30. And then we're going to see, because I think these next few weeks, the type of offenses we're going to play is we'll have more possessions because it won't be, as long of the ground and pounds. But, we had 80 plays in this past game against Iowa and just didn't have enough points.
What does this game teach you about playing in the Big Ten, whether it be the atmosphere, the travel, the physicality? What were some of your big takeaways from that?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything we thought it was going to be. This is the Big Ten. This is different. And the guys are big. And the players look the part. And they're born and raised to play in the Big Ten. And that's what the Big Ten used to be, right? The Wisconsin offensive lines, the Iowa offensive lines, Michigan, Ohio States, Penn States. I mean, that's what it's been about. The size of those type groups. With the travel, that's new. That's new to have it consistently. We always would have maybe one game across the country, but that's new for sure. And then I would also say the mentality of the Big Ten. There is a mindset of how you play football. There's a mindset of defense. There's a mindset of the running game. There's a mindset of the physicality of the game. The guys, Coach Ferentz has recruited to that team for 26 years, right? So he has built that team exactly how he wants it to look, to do exactly what he wants them to do at exactly the right moment. And that's how he feeds them, how they work out in the weight room, how they are the training room, their academic. They probably haven't changed their practice times in 25 years. Everything is what it is, right? So the Big Ten, the atmosphere is going to be great. I think our AD said to me, he said, I would bet that we'll play in front of a larger crowd this year than any other year that we've ever played, because you're playing a sellout at Penn State. You're playing a sellout at Iowa. You're playing a sellout at Indiana. You're playing a sellout. I mean, it's just you're constantly playing in front of the most amount of people, which makes it great. But it's a process to jump into this conference. It's not like we made a coaching change, but we were already in the conference. We have a new coach in a new conference with a new team, which is different, unique than some of the other places that have first-year head coaches that have been in either this conference or been in the SEC or been in the ACC.
Speaking of roster construction and things that are new, how does the 85 to 105 change your approach, maybe and specifically for the 25 recruiting class? Does that allow you to add more guys, or is it how is your approach going to be for
Yeah, well, one of the things that goes into if you want to add more scholarships, that comes out of your revenue share. So the first $2.5 million would be taken out if we added more scholarships. So I think right now what we would like to do is we would like to stay at our 85, and we would like to max out the possible revenue we can get to our kids. I think 85 is a good number, and then be able to maintain the walk-on program and keep 20 players here that are walking on. I would hate to be a situation where you just get rid of all walk-ons that don't give guys opportunities, but we're also going to have to see what the competition does and the peer groups that we're going against. And, you know, we never want to be at a disadvantage. And the best part about all of my conversations with Pat and Aaron have been, we're not going to be at a disadvantage, that they are fully on board, that the University of Washington is not going to be at a disadvantage, and we are going to understand the necessary things we have to do to stay at the top of the conference.
Does McCree have a chance to play with a club or something like that?
That's up to the hand surgeon, so we'll know better today, this afternoon, after he sees the hand surgeon. It's one of those dislocations that there has to be a specific hand surgeon that decides if he can play with a club, if he can't. You know, there's the ball cast, which you really can't use as an offensive lineman. So there's some parts to it that is some intricacies that I don't know the answer to.
Surgery?
No surgery.
What's Ryan Otten's status, and is he going to be able to play at all this season?
I don't expect him to, no. Okay, thank you.